Let's be honest, you already know the answer to this question. Welcome everybody to JG9 News, where we talk all things NFL all the time. I'm Jaguar9, representing the 904 from the 602, and today we are talking about the stunning announcement that came out earlier today. One of the greatest defensive linemen of all time, one of the greatest defenders, and one of the greatest players of all time is officially hanging it up, as after 10 seasons with the Rams splitting that time between St. Louis and Los Angeles, defensive lineman Aaron Donald has officially announced his retirement, and in all likelihood, no one with the Rams will ever wear that number 99 jersey again. Aaron Donald hanging it up after an amazing career. In a statement that he put out earlier today, he said, "For 10 years, I've been fortunate to play the game of football at the highest level. I'm thankful for the people I met along the way, the relationships I've built, and the things I've accomplished with my teammates and individually. I would like to thank St. Louis for the love and support during my first 2 years in the league as a St. Louis Rams and through my 8 years as a Los Angeles Ram." He also thanked Los Angeles, and he closed the statement out by saying, "As I turn my focus to a new chapter, I don't know what the future holds, but I'm excited about the off-the-field possibilities. Throughout my career, I've given my everything to football, both mentally and physically. I respected this game like no other, and I'm blessed to be able to conclude my NFL career with the same franchise that drafted me." Now that raises two obvious questions. Is Aaron Donald a Hall of Famer, and will he get in on the first ballot? I mean, duh. I don't even have to try to debate this. He's going to get into the Hall of Fame. There is no denying that. The only question is, will it be on the first ballot? Is he going to be one of the select few that make it in on the first ballot? And I don't see a universe, unless he murders someone, in which he doesn't make it on the first ballot. You look at the numbers, 111 sacks, 10 Pro Bowls, made it to the Pro Bowl every single year of his career. Not many guys can say that. 8 first-team All-Pros, and he's on the old 2010s team. And not only does he have a ring to his name, not that that's that important for a defensive lineman when it comes to accolades, but he was a big reason why the Rams got that ring. Maybe should have been the MVP of Super Bowl 56 for just how much he dominated Cincinnati's offensive line. Aaron Donald has won AP Defensive Player of the Year 3 times. For some perspective, there are 7 other players in NFL history to win AP Defensive Player of the Year multiple times, let alone 3 times. All of them, minus one, who I'll get to in a bit, got in on the first ballot. Joe Green won the award in 1972 and 1974. He was eligible in 1987 for the Hall of Fame. He got in first try. Ray Lewis, the Baltimore Ravens linebacker, won the award in 2000 and 2003. He was eligible for the first time in 2018. He got in first try. Bruce Smith, the Buffalo Bills defensive end, over 200 sacks in his career. 1990 and 1996 won that award. He was eligible in 2009 for the first time. He made it in. Mike Singletary, 1985 and 1988, absolute menace on that Chicago Bears defense. He was eligible for the first time in 1998, and he got in. Lawrence Taylor, 3-time winner, 1981, 82, his first 2 seasons in the league he did it, and 1986, first ballot in 1999, he got in even despite all the off-the-field issues with him. Reggie White, one of the greatest to ever do it, won the award in 1987 with the Eagles and 1998 with the Packers. He was eligible for the first time in 2006. He got in first try. The only guy that hasn't gotten in first try is J.J. Watt, because he's not eligible yet. He will become eligible for the first time in 2028, and there is no universe in which J.J. Watt doesn't make it on the first try in 2028. So Aaron Donald's in some pretty good company in terms of first ballot guys. 7 of them before him have won Defensive Player of the Year multiple times, and every single one has gotten in on the first ballot, and J.J. Watt, we expect to get in on the first ballot. On top of that, 8 AP first-team All-Pros. In terms of guys to play their entire career in the post-merger era, there's only 5 other guys to do that. Only 5 other guys since 1970 to start their career in the post-merger era and make 8 AP first-team All-Pros. Unsurprisingly, not only are all 5 of those guys in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, forever enshrined in the halls of Canton, Ohio, but they all got in on the first ballot. You have wide receiver Jerry Rice making it on the first ballot when he became eligible in 2010, the greatest wide receiver of all time. You got Anthony Munoz, maybe the greatest tackle of all time with the Cincinnati Bengals. He got in on the first try in 1998, first ballot Hall of Famer. And then Reggie White, Lawrence Taylor, Bruce Smith, the other three, we already talked about those guys, they're in. So there's no universe in which Aaron Donald doesn't get in on the first ballot. Really, the only debate with Aaron Donald at this point and how it impacts the Hall of Fame class in 2029 when he's eligible is, what does this mean for Jason Kelce? Because Jason Kelce, I said before, he's getting in first ballot. I said when he retired a few weeks ago that he was going to get in on the first try, even though only one other center had gotten in first ballot before. I thought his accolades actually matched up pretty well to them. I think because of the media presence, people are going to forget that Jason Kelce existed. He's got the ring. He was part of an influential play in the tush push. Obviously, we know Kelce's getting in, but I also said in that argument that no one else has retired that is eligible first time in 2029, and in 2028, you got Tom Brady and J.J. Watt as really the only two guys I could see getting into the Hall of Fame, not counting Antonio Brown. That's a whole different issue. But Tom Brady, J.J. Watt, they're going to make it on the first ballot, so there's no holdovers from 2028 that are obvious, a la what's happening in 2025, where Antonio Gates, I'd be very, very surprised if he doesn't make it in 2025, if we're not making it in this past season in 2024. Jason Kelce, though, now obviously there is a guy that leapfrogs the line, and understandably so, because Aaron Donald is one of the greatest defensive linemen and one of the greatest defenders of all time. A guy that wins 3 AP Defensive Player of the Year awards, he jumps the line, he becomes a first ballot selection. The other thing with this, what happens to the Hall of Fame game? Because the Hall of Fame game, a lot of the times, they like to schedule two teams that don't play each other during the season, but at the same time, they schedule teams that have guys getting in on the first ballot, notable guys that people will travel for and that are household names. Philadelphia Eagles, you figure they were going to be in the Hall of Fame game with Jason Kelce. Aaron Donald, Los Angeles Rams. Obviously, I'd be very surprised if they're not in the Hall of Fame game in 2029. But the Rams and Eagles are scheduled to play each other during the 2029 regular season. Granted, Hall of Fame game, it's a bit different in the sense that not a lot of starters are playing, and it's not a concrete rule that you can't play in the regular season. The Jaguars and the Raiders played in the Hall of Fame game in 2022, when the Raiders got a few guys in, including Cliff Branch, and the Jaguars got their first ever member in Tony Baselli, and they played in the regular season 3 months later, and the Jaguars won that game. Very good game, very good comeback. Pretty much turned Jacksonville's season around, but that's beside the point. So Rams-Eagles scheduled to play in 2029. Hall of Fame game could still happen between the two. Really, the only question with Donald's retirement is, what does this mean for Jason Kelce in terms of whether he makes the Hall of Fame on the first ballot? I don't think it changes anything, but it's less of a lock than it was before. And again, it's not about Jason Kelce not getting in the Hall of Fame. It's more of will he get on the first ballot. Less of a lock than it was before because Donald leapfrogs the line and is a first ballot Hall of Famer every single day of the week. I would be stunned. It would be one of the biggest crying shames in the history of the NFL and the Hall of Fame if Aaron Donald does not get in on the first ballot. The accolades are there. The resume is there. Aaron Donald, enjoy your retirement, man. One of the greatest to ever do it. You will sorely be missed unless you're another quarterback in the NFC West, in which case, as Kyler Murray was rejoicing when the news broke down. Congratulations on your retirement, man. One of the best to ever do it. And we will see you in Canton, Ohio in 2029 when you become eligible for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. No doubt in my mind about that. But what are your thoughts on Aaron Donald's retirement? Do you think he's a Hall of Famer? Do you think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer? Where would you rank Aaron Donald among the greatest defensive linemen and the greatest defenders and the greatest Rams of all time? Is he even the greatest defensive lineman in Rams history? Because obviously you got Merlin Olsen. That's pretty good company to be in, but you figure they run 1-2. Donald or Olsen, who do you have? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. That's going to do it for this episode of JG9 News. Be sure you like and subscribe. Helps the channel out a lot. And be sure to check out my main channel, JaguarGary9, where we talk all things NFL history all the time. Until next time, this is JaguarGary9 signing off, and as always, go Jags.